Sure, sure.
Yeah. Okay. My question to you was, okay, if it's not there, then I got it. If it's there, it should be included or should not be included. What do you think?
It will be separate, right? For example, let's assume like a company guy, he's saying like, okay, you purchase it for $100 and later on you need to pay for the service of installation. So then it doesn't comes under the product. Like I'm paying just $100 to the shopkeeper, but remaining thing I'm going to pay to the service guy.
Okay, let me ask you
So,
then.
so the total
Let me
expenditure
make,
for it's 110. The total expenditure for me is 110, but for product I paid 110 total cost, which can be segregated into installation cost as well as the what do you say, like purchase cost
no,
of the
no,
product.
no, 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 let me go from here. Okay, very simple question. Pen you purchased for 100 rupees, packaging was 10 rupees, and final amount that you paid was 110. Will you say you purchased the pen for 110 or 100 rupees?
110.
Why would you include the packaging?
Because
What is the logic?
see, the thing is, from my pocket I have to shell out like 110 rupees, right? It doesn't matter whether it is segregated into different particulars. That doesn't matter, right?
No, I'll give you a deep answer, a little bit tricky, which actually by which I'll answer the other question as well. So the reason we include this is what is legally required. Again, these are language of the law, which says whatever expense that we incur to bring a particular product to its current location and position. So these are the exact words. Whatever expense that we incur to bring the product to its current location and position, we will have to capitalize it. We will have to include that in the cost of the product. What I mean by that is this: without that packaging, can you purchase that product? Can you purchase that product? That is not an option. Whenever you will go to the store, you will have to purchase it with the packaging. It's not available in the store. Without the installation of the machinery. Now let me connect to this. Give me 1 second. Without the installation of the machinery, can you use the machinery?
No.
So it will have to include it in the cost of the machinery. That's what is the logic here.
Okay.
So
I recall the example like what sir has mentioned in the class. For example, let's assume like if I want to purchase something from Delhi and I need to bring it from export it to Bangalore. So I have purchased the machine in Delhi, but until unless I bring it to Bangalore, the cost can't be like sum up. So for example, the expenditure to the travel, the transport, everything has to be included. If it is there in Delhi, if it is not there at my place in Bangalore, that doesn't make sense because I can't use it in Delhi. So that's what you mean to say, right? Installation by machinery
absolutely
at
correct.
my place.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So whatever the cost that you incur in the transportation will be included in the cost of the asset itself. You're right. Okay. Let me quickly go to what I was trying to discuss. So suppose this was the case. Okay. So definitely from that we have discussed in detail that wages should not be there. The account should be cash and machinery. Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cash account is a what type of account?
It's a nominal account. It's a real account. Sorry, cash. I can.
Perfect. Machinery is a
real account.
Perfect. Cash is coming in or going out?
Cash is going out.
Perfect. Credit. And machinery is coming in or going out?
Coming in as an asset.
Coming in. Okay. So debit. So the entry that it should be is machinery account debit 500 to cash account 500. So now this is the entry that is supposed to be. However, suppose by mistake, somebody has entered wages account debit 500 to cash 500. Now, what my question to you is, how do we fix this? So this is what it's supposed to be. This is what we have already entered. How do we fix this? Can somebody tell me?
You need to adjust somewhere for either cash account or the wages account. I need to.
No, tell me the journal entry. No. Tell me the journal. Everything that we are doing from the journal entry. Tell me the journal entry. How do we fix this?
Are you
Let me
asking
give
another journal entry that
yes.
fixes this?
Yes, for the fix. So this is the error. Now I'm asking for the fix. Can I say for a
Wages
second?
account debit to machinery account?
No. You just flip it. You made the mistake.
Oh, machinery account debit to wages account.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you tell me why did you say that?
Because those two are the, as per ledger, those two are the accounts that's being affected by the mistake.
Yes. So if you credit wages, it knocks off the earlier debit. Can I say that? When you credit the wages, it knocks off the debit that was done earlier. And because machinery had to be debited, now you're debiting it, right?
And both of them are debiting to cash account, so that's also peaceful.
So cash is already right. You don't have to touch that. Cash was supposed to be credited, it was credited.
We just need to credit machinery to wages.
Yes. Now others, please tell me if you're having some difficulty here.
No, so the concept is journal entries can't be like removed. So that's the reason we have to create a new one. That's what you mean to say. Like,
Yes.
chronological order.
Correct.
The same concept in SAP also. Like we can't delete any journal
entry. Absolutely correct. You can relate to it. I can see that. Yeah. So everyone agree to it? So I'll move on from there. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Let me quickly bring in one more concept that is called prepaid insurance. Suppose in the year we have paid some amount of insurance. We have paid, suppose 1,000.
I'm so sorry, Dheeraja. Debit means you're putting something in, is it?
Not necessarily. It depends on the transaction, the account that you are hitting. So if you are talking about a real account, debit means it is coming in. Same concept of golden rule. However, if it is a personal account, debit means he is receiving something from you. Can you relate to that? If it is a nominal account, then debit is something that is your expense.
Okay. In this case, both wages account and machinery account are real account. So,
yes.
Okay. I get it now.
Yeah.
And in real account, debit means something that is coming in.
Yes.
And credit means something that is going out.
Yeah. Wages account is not a real account.
So in this issue, we've falsely put 500 into the wages account.
Yes.
So we have to remove that by crediting it into the machinery account.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Now let me quickly go back to one more concept. So paid insurance, 1,000 rupees. Now tell me, what should be the entry for this? Paid insurance, 1,000 rupees. What are the two aspects?
Insurance receivable.
Insurance. One person said cash. Yes. Anybody else? Insurance receivable. You said.
I first said insurance receivable actually.
Okay. Insurance receivable. Anybody else? Okay. So here we are paying the insurance.
Insurance is also there.
Yeah. So actually it should not be insurance receivable. It should be insurance. Insurance receivable will be then when we will be receiving insurance. Here we are paying the insurance, right? So it's definitely not insurance receivable. And here we are actually paying it off. So we can just.
But in this scenario also we are representing the person who's paying it, right? One of the aspects would be.
Yeah, now let me bring back. I was actually about to tell you the same example of the bookstore that I went to. I purchased a pen. I came back. Do I have to remember the bookstore? Here, no, I have already paid the insurance, right? Here I have already paid the insurance. So I don't have to remember who do I pay, right? In the same concept.
Okay, so if the business is paying insurance, you don't need to remember that. But if you're receiving insurance from some insurance company, we have to represent them.
No, not even then. So if you are, suppose I would have said received insurance for 1,000, then your account should be same insurance and cash, because you have received, no? In a similar way, if you have received money from somebody, why would you remember him? You know the
Okay,
purpose
okay.
for which
Got
you
it,
have
got it.
received and the cash also. So,
Yeah, got
however,
it, got it.
however, insurance receivable or payable will come when you have not received the cash. Suppose it would have said insurance due for 1,000 rupees, due to be paid. Something like that would have said.
Or charged,
Yes,
those kind
yes,
of words.
yes,
Okay, okay,
exactly,
got it.
exactly,
Got it.
exactly. Now that we have determined that insurance is a what type of account? Real, personal, nominal?
Nominal account.
Perfect. And cash is a?
Real account.
Perfect. Nominal account, what are the rules?
Expense will be like
Here it is an
credited.
expense or income?
Here is it's income.
Expense only. No, we are paying, right? We are paying only.
Okay. So
Yeah.
one more thing, like as sir has mentioned, we
Yeah.
have to always consider the business entity whenever whatever journal entries we are doing or ledger.
Yes.
So it's not individual person. It's always with respect to business entity or
Correct.
business. We have to capture all those things. So
Correct.
insurance payable means this is something we are paying to the business, right? Or
No,
business is
not to
paying
the
to
business. Business is paying to the insurance company.
Okay.
Business is paying to the insurance. So like we have the life insurance, businesses have their insurance for their machinery, for fire, and a lot of other purposes. And there is a whole different industry for insurance. So a lot of insurances are there. So they pay for that. So business is paying.
Okay. So
now
always
cash
business
is
paying. There is never like individual comes into picture. Okay.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Cash is coming in or going out?
Cash is going out.
Yes, credit. Now the entry is very simply insurance account debit to cash account. The amount is 1,000 and 1,000.
So this insurance amount debit, the insurance account debit, it is from company's account, right? Business account, business insurance account, and it's debited to the insurance company. Sorry, credited to the business company. Sorry, insurance company.
No, why are you saying credited to?
Okay, let's assume like ABC is the business organization.
Okay.
ABC is the business organization, and XYZ is the insurance company. Okay. So ABC is the business organization which is having an insurance with the XYZ. So they are paying an insurance, like company insurance. Let's assume company insurance. So they are paying company insurance a premium of 1,000 rupees to XYZ. Right. So 1,000 rupees got debited from ABC account, insurance account.
No. Let's not talk about the insurance account here. We are now entering in the books of ABC, right? We are now in the books of ABC. Forget about XYZ. Because we have already paid XYZ the particular amount of insurance. Let's forget it altogether. Now let's talk about ABC. ABC has paid what? Insurance. For that transaction, what are the two accounts? Insurance and cash. Now, I know what the insurance account that you're talking about. It is actually similar to the bank account of the bank. So I'm not going there. So that insurance account that you're talking about, that is in the books of whom? XYZ.
Okay.
That is in their books. We are not bothered about that right now. Okay.
Understood.
We are purely making the entry in the ABC's books.
Understood.
Yeah. So insurance account debit to cash.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am not much familiar with this insurance concept. Just asking, is there any catch with the word prepaid? Because is it something like we are paying before the bill generation or something?
I'm coming there. I'm in 5 seconds. I'm bringing that concept in. No problem. I'll explain that. I haven't explained that yet. That is very new for you guys. I know that. Yeah. Give me 5 seconds. I'll be bringing that in. So we have already determined, forget about the prepaid insurance part. The paid insurance, this should be the entry. However, let me tell you this. Normally what happens is you pay the insurance on suppose October of 2020. October of 2020 you paid. And it is valid for 1 year. It is valid for 1 year, meaning thereby it will be valid till September of 2021. Okay, so you paid in October 20. It is valid for 1 year, and it is valid till therefore September of 2021. However, you are preparing your financial statements, profit and loss account, balance sheet on 31st of March 2021. Now, can anybody get sense out of it? It is something similar to accrued interest. Can somebody relate to that? I'll repeat, no problem. So what is happening here is From October 2020 till 31st March 2021, whatever insurance we have paid, we have received back the service. So for that period. But what about 1st April 2021 till September 2021? We have not received that service, right?
Yeah, that's advance payment, prepayment.
Yes, yes, absolutely correct. Can somebody relate to that? It is actually an advance payment. It is actually a prepayment. We still have not received the service. What is the service? Insurance service. So from October 2020 to 31st March 2021, so that we have received. For that, whatever portion that is, that we have received. Suppose per se, I'm saying 500. Let's not go to the monthly calculation. I'm saying from October 2020 to 31st March 2021, it's 500 rupees. That we have received the particular service, insurance service. So booking that as an expense is absolutely fine. However, for what about the other 500? We have not received that part. We have not received the service for that part. So it is absolutely valid to say that is actually a prepayment that we're making for getting the service in the next year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now that we are determining a part of it, a part of that transaction is actually prepayment. Is it not similar to the error part? So here, this what has been done is an error. The fix would be prepaid insurance debit to insurance. For how much? Only 500, because error is only for 500. Can somebody relate to this? Any doubts in this?
So could you please repeat once? Like there is an error you mentioned, right? So we made an advance payment. So you want to make it correction by adding a new journal entry.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we did, right?
Correct. So
it's not an error as such, but if you're looking at it on 31st March, it's an error.
Yes, you are absolutely right. It was not purely an error, but on 31st March, we got to know something else, some additional information, because of which that turned out to be an error. Now we are fixing it. So to fix it, we are definitely crediting the insurance similar to that other account where we were crediting the wages to cancel the wages, and only for how much? 500, because error is only for 500 rupees, and we are debiting the prepaid insurance, which is nothing but representing the insurance company. Debited because they are the receiver of the insurance money. Debited because they are
so now a new ledger account also has been created. Prepaid insurance.
Yes, new ledger account will be created. Yes, you are right.
In order to rectify the error.
Yes. Yeah. Is that clear, Ranjana?
Also over here, now the other thing came, like insurance receivable. Since we haven't paid it yet, we are representing the fund.
Yes. You actually can name it insurance receivable. You can actually name it insurance instead of prepaid. You can say insurance receivable.
Okay, got it.
However, don't do that. I would recommend say it as prepaid insurance only. That's all right. But the meaning it's.
Why will get wrong? If we put insurance receivable, is it wrong?
Yeah. So what happens is insurance receivable is when you have an insurance business and you have to receive insurance from somebody.
Okay. If you look at it, if you look at accounts as a language, that has a different meaning.
Yeah. You're right. Ranjana, is that clear?
And what happened to the other 500?
Other 500 was properly recorded, wasn't it? It was an expense for the period. So properly insurance account debit to cash 500 was accurately done. So we are not touching that.
Okay.
So if I segregate that account entry, just for a better clarity, if I segregate that entry into two parts, insurance account debit, let me just copy it. And I make it as 500 for this, 500 for this. And the other one was 500. So this is the first one. The first one is for October till 31st March, and the second one is for 31st March to 2021. So I just segregated the same into two different parts depending on the amount. The first one was absolutely right, so I'm not touching that. Second one was wrong. That only I'm fixing it now.
Okay, got it. And with enter all these in different sites, right?
Different sites as in, sorry?
This will be a carry forward kind of thing. The
Yeah,
error.
I'm coming there. I'm coming there. No, I'll coming there. How I'm relating this to final accounts, I'll come there. Because so actually these adjustments, few additional adjustments, those are coming in the new question that we are picking. So I'm discussing the adjustments first, then I'll go to the final accounts question. If it is clear with everybody, I'll move on. So yeah, here is the question that sir gave in his practice questions, and I'm picking this question first. So I've copy pasted the question in my worksheet here. This is the same question. So from trial balance this, then trial balance is given, then few adjustments are given, and we have our final accounts that we have to prepare. Before starting there, okay, I wanted to give you this shortcut. When you have a final accounts question on the day of the exam, these are the steps that you should follow in our process. Step one should be identify the accounts affected by the adjustments. Let's do that. Identify the accounts affected by the adjustments. Okay, let's do that. One adjustment by adjustment, we will go what accounts are getting affected, and we will note those, or maybe symbol wise put a tick on it, write something next to it. Whatever we can remember, we will do that in the question paper itself. First adjustment, write off machinery by 10%, patents by 20%. Can somebody tell me what accounts are getting affected by it? Write off machinery by 10%, patents by 20%. We have already dealt with the depreciation earlier. Can somebody recall and tell me?
What is patents?
Patent is when you, are you familiar with copyright? You must be familiar with the copyright.
I mean, I know the meaning of patent, but I know the meaning of patent, but what does it mean by right of patent 20%?
So similar to, a fixed asset, when we talk about the depreciation, like we discussed, wear and tear happens, right? So similar to that concept, when you make a patent, it is done for a particular number of years. It is not done for, unlimited number of years, almost 100% of the times. So when you have that, suppose a patent is for 10 years. That means, suppose for the patent, you paid 1,000 rupees and it is for 10 years. So every year when passes, you're losing that 100 rupees, right?
Okay, got it. Now got it.
Similar to that concept, you have the writing off of or depreciation of patents as well.
So write-off also indicates depreciation.
Yes. Write-off means depreciation. You are right. So what are the accounts those are affected by it?
Depreciation account debited to machinery account, is it for the first one?
Perfect. So depreciation account debit to machinery. Okay. In this step, which the machinery account is getting affected and depreciation for machinery account is getting affected, or depreciation account, right? So we don't have a depreciation account, if you can see in the question. If we don't have, then we will create one. I have already told you. If we don't have, we will create one. However, machinery we have, if you can see it. So what we will do is, we will mark it with A, saying that there is an adjustment for it. For now, the step one is only to figure out which are the accounts those are affected by the adjustments. Okay. Is there any other account that is getting affected by this adjustment? Patent. Just right next to it, patent is also there. A. Just remember that we will create the depreciation account separately. We will create the depreciation account separately. Well, when we'll be moving on with the steps, that will come in a bit. Then we come to salaries for the month of March of unpaid of 1,500 rupees. Salaries for the month of March unpaid of 1,500 rupees. Very simple meaning, whatever it means. Salary which was due, but you have not paid it. For how much? 1,500. What are the accounts getting affected by it of the trial balance?
Salary account.
Perfect. Let me see if salary account is there. Yes, it's there here. If you can see 18,000, let me mark that. And the other aspect is salary payable. Until today, we have been discussing the difference between salary and salary payable. Here is a case when you're supposed to pay the salary, but you have not paid. That means the salary payable, which are representing the people, the employees only. Do you remember that concept? Which is representing the employees only.
Yes,
However,
yes. If it is
if you
paid
see,
over there, it'll be cash, right?
yeah. Then you
Okay,
don't
got
have
it,
to
got it.
bring in the, yes, absolutely. So salary payable is not there. Again, we will create it. Very simple logic. Then we come to unexpired insurance. So this was the logic that I was giving earlier. This is nothing but prepaid insurance. So you had insurance of 600 in the beginning. You have already entered that. Now you're determining that, part of that insurance, which is 85 rupees, that has not expired, meaning thereby that you still have for the next month or next 2 months or something like that. Now, what are the two accounts that is getting affected by this? We have already seen prepaid insurance and insurance, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now we don't have a prepaid insurance here. If you can see, we have the insurance. So we'll put a
C.
in front of
I mean
that.
E.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Adjustment. A for adjustment. You can do anything.
Okay.
You can put a tick on it. You can write anything.
But that's an error. No, that 600 is actually an error.
No. Forget about that error and everything. The adjustment
Okay.
entry we are passing is this. We will remember
Okay.
that. The
Then my bad.
adjustment transaction is this. Adjustment transaction is this. Adjustment entry is this. Very simple. Forget about the error. Forget about everything else. Go step by step. We are going. Now make a provision for doubtful debts of 500. Making the provision for doubtful debts. Now here, if you can see, it does not say maintain a provision for doubtful debts. This is not the balance. It says make a provision for doubtful debts. Do you remember the entry for that?
Bad debt and provision for bad debt, is it?
Absolutely correct. We'll go through those in a bit. Why the bad debt is debited, why the provision for bad debt is credited. But for now, we are just putting in separating or identifying the accounts that are getting affected. If you can see, provision for bad debt is not there. We'll have to create that account. However, bad debt is also not there. I think, yeah, bad debt is also not there. Yeah, we don't have to do anything for this one. So both of these accounts we will have to create. So I'm moving forward with it. Provide an interest on capital of 5,000 rupees. Provide an interest on capital of 5,000 rupees. What it means is the owner had invested some capital in the business. On that money, on that capital, we are now incurring some interest. We are acknowledging that we will pay you certain amount of interest. So see, in my language, I'm not saying we paid interest, because it very clearly says provide interest on capital of this machine. It does not say paid interest on capital, which means that we have not paid yet. Which means that we have just acknowledged that, on your capital, to the owner, the business is saying, on your capital of 71,000 that you have invested, we will pay you interest on capital of 5,000, but we have not paid it. Okay, what are the accounts those are getting affected by it?
Interest account and capital.
Perfect. Interest account and capital account. The same thing will happen here. I just got a pop-up 10 minutes thing. If it ends, just join back quickly and we will move forward from there. So interest account and capital account. If you see interest account is not there anywhere, capital account is there. So I'm marking that. Moving on.
But it is interest payable, right? So we don't have to create another with interest payable, like salaries payable.
Yeah, interest. So interest payable, when you say, that is exactly same as this only. So now that you have said that, let me go into it. Okay. So the transaction is provide interest on capital of 500. The one we got to know is interest. One is capital. One is interest payable. Can you tell me interest payable represents whom?
The business, us.
No. Interest payable.
Oh,
to whom you
interest
pay
payable.
the interest. To whom you pay the interest, right? It's the owner,
so
right?
the owner.
And capital represents whom?
The owner.
Yeah. So it's the same name given to the same person, just in different scenarios, right? So let's use the capital instead of interest payable. Yeah. Let's use the capital instead of the interest payable.
Yeah.
Now that we are clear about it.
But in normal scenario, sorry, but in normal scenario, this is like provide interest on capital, right? If we have already provided the interest, then it will be interest paid on capital. So it will also behave as interest account and capital account only, right? What is the difference then?
No. If it says paid interest on capital, and paid interest on capital. What are the two aspects in it? Can you tell me?
Capital and cash.
Capital you said, cash you said. Okay. Anything else?
Interest account will be there.
Okay. Now, definitely cash is a permanent one. Let's debate between capital and interest. Same concept. I'll give the example of bookstore. I went to the bookstore, I purchased a pen, I came back home. Do I have to remember to whom I paid? What is more important for me, the pen or the bookstore? So here, I have already paid the interest to the owner, right? Is the owner important now?
Yeah.
Or the interest is important? So,
okay, interest is important.
Yes, yes. So you can put in all these logics, which is exactly why I'm again repeating all these concepts. Whenever you are getting a doubt, you are getting 3 accounts in a particular transaction, you can think of what are those 2 important ones. Then you can quickly remember what are the logics that we discussed in the class. So here, cash and interest would be the accounts those are getting affected by it in that scenario. Now, quickly, let's go to the next one.
Sorry to interrupt. Suppose I get confused with these 3 aspects in exam, and I write it as a capital account itself. Still match in the final account, right?
Yeah, the final accounts will match. The balance sheet will match, but the values will be wrong then. Your balance sheet values will be wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, so your cash
the balance will be the same. I mean, we'll get the final answer the same, even though we are putting it into another ledger account.
No. What I said was your balance sheet will match. Your total of assets and total of liabilities will match. However, the final balance of cash account and the final balance of capital account will be wrong.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the next one is commission due for the work done but not received. Commission due for the work done but not received. The 2 accounts, commission due for the work but not received.
Commission receivable.
Commission receivable, you said one.
Representing the people who are supposed to get the commission. And
who are supposed to pay us the commission. We are receiving here, right? Who are supposed to pay.
Okay, yeah, pay.
Yeah,
pay us the.
And the other one is? Other one is commission itself, isn't it? That is income for us.
Okay. Commission
that is income for us. Yes. Because we have not received, so commission is the other part. So here, if you can see, commission or commission receivable, we cannot see. We will have to create that one. So I'm not putting that anywhere. Now let's go to wages include a sum of 2,000 spent on erection of cycle stand for the employees. What it means is you had a cycle stand that was supposed to be installed in your premises. The wages paid for that you have included in wages, which is supposed to be a machinery account, which is supposed to be included as a cycle stand account or a machinery account, whatever you call it. If you remember, we have already discussed this. Do you remember this example?
Yes. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I have some office work, so I'll be dropping off from the call.
Yeah, no problem.
And one more thing, do you remember, like in last session, we were discussing about the sequencing. As sir mentioned, like 1 to 10, like reverse order.
Yeah.
If you go, so you said like next class you're going to discuss about it.
This is the one. This is the one. I'm actually not following sir's method. Instead, I'm following this ones. If you can see. Yeah.
I'll go through the recording one.
Perfect.
I thought of
no
it.
Problem.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, sure.
I apologize for
Hey, no problem.
Bye, Sammy.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye, Thomas.
Yeah. Bye. So if you can remember, something that was supposed to be entered in machinery account, we entered in wages account, and now rectification entry we passed was machinery to wages, right? Machinery to wages. Can you recall that?
Yes.
Now here, similar situation is happening. Wages include a sum of 2,000. Wages, you have entered 2,000 spent on erection of cycle stand for employees, which are supposed to be capitalized, which is supposed to be included as a cycle stand. You have included in the wages. Similar to this, the entry will be cycle stand account debit to wages account. Am I clear?
Actually, it should have been cycle stand account debit to cash.
Yes, the original entry should have been cycle stand to cash, but we have included wages to cash. Now what we are doing is cycle stand account debit to wages.
Yeah, that $2,000 we were supposed to get, but we didn't get it.
No, we
that $2,000 was supposed to be included. I mean, it was supposed to be paid to cash, but yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah. You're right. Now, if you see, cycle stand account is not there. However, wages account is there here. If you can see. Now I'll put it.
So currently, that 10,480 balance includes that 2,000.
Yes, absolutely right. Because the trial balance is after all the journal entries, all the ledger entries. Then only we have prepared this. Now,
why did you put C there?
Sorry, not CA. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, adjustment. Yeah. Now let's quickly go to one thing in the provision for bad debt. No, I forgot to do it for here. The debtors are getting affected by it, right? Sundry debtors. So this one should also be there for provision for bad debt here. All right. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. That was fine as is. Provision for bad debt is bad debt account debit to provision for bad debt. So debtor account, I won't do it. Yeah.
So provision for that is provision is representing the debtors, right?
Yes. Provision is representing the debtors, but it has a separate name, so we'll create a separate ledger for that.
Okay. So it's not affecting it.
Yeah. So it ultimately it will affect, but because it has a name to it, so we are creating.
Is this what you meant by we will look at it as two different entities rather than mixing it together?
No. So this is something that if you remember, I told about the contra liability, contra asset. So provision for bad debt is a contra liability for debtors. Provision for bad debts is a contra asset for debtors. Contra asset for debtors. What I mean is by that, provision for bad debt is representing the debtors only, and debtors already has an account to them. However, because we are facing some specific circumstance, that's why we are entering the provision for bad debt account separately. However, these are same people only. So why not knock these off? Why not knock these off? And suppose I have 14,500 balance in the debtors account, and I have suppose 2,000 or some amount, 2,000 suppose balance in the provision for bad debt account, which is a credit balance. Then actual debtor balance is 14,500 minus 2,000, isn't it?
Yes, because the 2,000